So today I want to explain how to use the Weight of Flight build I've been using lately. There's many different names how this build is called. Some will call it the Nirvana build, some will call it the Infinite Spirits build, some will also call it the Burst Weight of Light build. But whatever you call it, the main mechanic is the Infused with Light and also the Fist of Fury. And let's take a look at the skill set first. Now the main advantage of this build is to trigger that 5 seconds infinite spirits when you press the Infuse with Light, and I will explain a bit later why you can trigger that infinite spirits. But the skill set is like this. Your most important generator, which is the Will of Hundred Fist of Fury, you must use this to trigger the Infuse with Light. And the reason being is the holy damage. The holy damage over 5 seconds is like a dot damage. It's a damage over time. And as long as you can put this on the monsters and you don't kill them, when you press the Infuse with Light, you will then get the spirit region from this damage over time as well. So that's why during that 5 seconds you will be able to get so much spirits back that you can spam your Weight of Light. So this is most important. You cannot use any other generator, only this one works. The Dashing Strike, I'll come back a bit later. The Breath of Heaven Infused with Light is the second most important element in this build, and that is how you trigger the Spirits part. The mantra is pretty simple, use MOC 48%. The Blinding Flash is very important as well, because you'll be casting a lot of Will of Light due to your faster attack speed, and the blind does not just give you a flat 30% damage buff, it's the 30% depending on your attack speed. So once you have more attack speed, your blind then becomes more powerful, and during that 5 seconds basically you can break down that 5 seconds into two parts. The first 3 seconds will be your blind attack, and the remaining 2 seconds will be your non-blinded attack. The Weight of Light, which is your DPS, your main DPS output, and there are many different Weight of Light you can use. You can use the Wall of Light, you can also use the Pillar, but you do not want to use the Empower Wave. The Empower Wave is useless in this case because we don't have Spirits problem. The only factor here is the Spirits. It's not the attack speed to generate your Spirits, and it's also not your Spirit usage, so there's no need to use the Empower Wave. The passive, the passive you should usually choose STI for defense, but if you really want, and if you're doing lower MP, then maybe you can take out the STI. The Beacon of Yata is great because it reduces the cooldown of your Infuse with Light, and that Infuse with Light is basically what you need to trigger your DPS output. Once that is on cooldown, you're not doing a lot of DPS. So the Beacon of Yata is important. The third, you can choose anything. You can either choose the Fleet-footed, you can even choose the Combination Strike to increase your DPS by 8%. Yes, you do get 8% from using one generator. And you can also use the Exalted Soul to allow you to press 2 more Weight of Light at the end. I'm gonna go with, let's go with the Exalted Soul here for demonstration purpose. So this technique, which is usually open up, and you can choose a various different skills. You can either choose the Sweeping Wind Cyclones, which I will show how to use that a bit later, but I like to use Dashing Strike here. The Dashing Strike is what makes this build more efficiently, and a lot of people have been like copying the spec, and they keep asking me, I don't get my spirits back, I don't know what's going on. I go in there, I see my spirits going up, but then it stops. It's because you killed the monster. Now the damage over time is what is triggering the spirits region. If you accidentally, or if you kill the monster with the holy damage, then you stop generating spirits. So the Dashing Strike then becomes useful for this case. I will show you how to use this build more successfully. The weapon, you should be using a faster weapon. You should usually use a red gem as well. I don't have the red gem here because I use this weapon for other builds, but you should usually use a red gem, and you should also use the Echo Fury. The Echo Fury doesn't need to be very high weapon DPS. It needs to be high dex and pretty much perfect attack speed per second, And hopefully if you are going for a rare weapon with the lifesteal, then you don't need the lifesteal on your Akan Fury. You can then put the critical damage there, which is a better choice. I will link the calculator in the information page. I have built myself a calculator to tell you which gem is better, and also how to compare different weapons and also different set. And I'm not going to go through that in this video, but you can take a look at the other tutorial, and it's going to reveal everything you need to know about how to calculate your rate of light damage, and it's going to also tell you what kind of weapon and setup is better. So let's go in there and let's run a little bit. Now this is usually the problem. If I don't have the dashing strike, and I go in there, I press my Breath of Heaven to trigger my infused with light, and I already have the Fist of Fury up. So the remaining task will be pressing your mantra and then blind and then spam your Rate of Light. So I'm gonna do that. So here's a pack. I go in there, I hit, and then I press. And here my spirits stop. And that is because I killed them by mistake. The monsters are too close to each other, so eventually I will kill them. And here again, no spirits. So my spirits stop 2 times. Instead of getting like 4-5 seconds duration, I'm only getting like 3 seconds, or maybe even less, depending on how fast you kill, and also depending on what MP you go to. If I go down to a bit lower MP, I can one-shot them, and if I do one-shot them, then my spirits stop. So I'm going to restart, and I'm going to show you what would be a better way to use this build, is to use the dashing strike to help you. And here I'm taking just the warrior rest as example. When I go into the warrior rest, and then I see the pack, I locate the pack, which is going to be my main target, but I don't dash out my attack straight away. Like here, I put the holy damage so far away from everyone. Oh, got fear there. You can see I got a 4-5 seconds duration. Now I did get fear, so I lost the first 2 seconds. But the dashing strike is useful for me to put the holy damage to the monster that is very far away from the battle, and that will eliminate the chance for them to accidentally get killed during your 5 seconds infused with light. If you don't do that, then once you kill them, you stop generating spirits. Now let me do one more example, one more demonstration in the warrior rest. Then I'm going to go out and just dash around in the woods. So here we go. Frenzy Shine, I'll pick that up. I locate the pack. I already put the holy damage here, so I can already go in there, and then I can initialize my attack. Say if the pack is at the beginning, then you don't initialize your attack. You dash to the right hand side where there's going to be like a whole bunch of small monsters there, and then you dash back. So you always need to put the holy damage first before you do your infuse with light. So let me show you what it will look like when I go out of here. Also, another trick is when you are dashing around, you don't just dash, 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 dash. Don't do that. Dash and then hit, dash and then hit. This way you're already putting holy damage everywhere, so if you happen to meet the pack right away, you can then use your infuse with light straight away. You don't need to wait anymore. So here there's no pack, so I'm still going to dash, but I'm putting holy damage to the packs that I dash to. Here you will also see another example. I put holy damage already. Once I reach this target, infuse with light straight away. No need to dash back. So this is how you can use this build more efficiently. Okay, so this is the first technique that you should try to learn and use, the dashing strike. Now, a lot of people will have survivability problems when you use this, when you are only relying on your rate of light to regen your life. Then during the cooldowns, a lot of monsters will be hitting you. Your only attack will be your Weight of 100 Fist of Fury, and that is very weak. It's very weak compared to like Weight of Light and Sweeping Wind Cyclones and all that. It's also very weak compared to Fist of Thunder, Thunderclap. So a lot of people will die when they are waiting for the cooldown. If you happens to be like that, then you can change around. For example, if you want, you can then change your blind away and then use, for example, the Sweeping Wing. Like here, Sweeping Wind Cyclones. This way, you will still be able to regen your life while you're waiting for the cooldown, and this is great. This build is great for the white monster when you go into like the Field of Mystery. You can also take away the Dashing Strike and use the Sweeping Wing there, but you just need to remember, once you kill the monster, then they will eventually stop generating your spirits. Now I'm going to show you a variation. When I go into the Field of Mystery, I like to do the Sweeping Wing build, but I still like to keep the Dashing Strike, so then my Infused with Light is more successful, and also I feel like I'm moving faster when I have the Dashing Strike. Instead of the Weight of Light, I now use the Pillar, so then the white monster does not get knocked back that easily. And I'll show you how it looks like. When I go into the Field of Mystery, I have my Sweeping Wing up. And the Sweeping Wing also serves as a purpose of grouping the monster. It's not necessarily just your DPS. Because you're generating cyclones behind you, the monsters are going to group up, and this is the best puller we have as a monk. So you pull them with your cyclones, and also while you're pulling them, you're also generating your holy damage, so you're putting holy damage there as well at the same time. And once you have enough group, then you initialize your attack. I'm not going to kill the Key Warden, but he's going to jail me. So this is usually the build I use when I'm farming white monster. And for example, like experience runs, this will be a better build. This build will kill the elite slower, but it's also a safer build. So if you are not able to survive purely with the Weight of Light and you're always waiting for cooldowns, and that moment when you always die like that, it's better for you to go with the Cyclones. Cyclones will be your second attack, your second DPS output, and that will then be your income for the lifesteal. So let's see if we can pull another group. Remember to stop a little bit to generate your Cyclones. Here should be another big group now. Alright. So they're going to come all close to me, and just wait for them to come and then initialize your attack. Okay, so I did not manage to kill like the bigger monster, but also worth noticing is if you're playing this map and you're only killing one monster, you should then change to SOJ. You should change to Rear Ring. The SOJ is needed for killing elite, but once you're here, you should then change to a Rear Ring to increase your DPS. Now my DPS is a lot higher compared to just using the SOJ. But you can see the Dashing Strike is really helping me a lot in this kind of farm, both in elite killing and also in the white monster killing. You don't need to walk slowly and then wait for them to group up. You can group them up by using the Dashing Strike, and once you're done, group, dash to the next target and continue the pull. You can also use the Wall of Light here if you feel like it. I argue that sometimes I feel like the Pillar is better, just so then the monster does not get knocked back all the time. This white monster get knocked back too easily. So using the Pillar, then they're always going to be grouped up and they will not get knocked back like crazy when compared to using the Wall of Light. And remember to check out the calculator to see how to calculate different weapons and to see which set is better to use. If you still have any question, feel free to come back to my channel and ask, and I will be happy to answer them. Enjoy the build, and I'll see you guys around.